Now, I've been told that a lot of ministers don't really like to give this particular lesson. But I'm not most ministers. I actually think that this spiritual law, in particular, is second only to the law of oneness that Reverend James talked about when this series started on July 13th. And I want to thank Reverend James for inviting me and entrusting me to continue with this series and this lesson today. Now, all of these spiritual laws, oneness, mind, action, faith, forgiveness, and today's law, giving and receiving, are really truth principles in the spiritual realm. And maybe the most important thing for you to understand about them as a whole is that they transcend the spiritual realm, and they demonstrate in the physical realm where we're all having our human experience. So what is the law of giving and receiving? And why am I talking about these two ideas as one law? Maybe it would be better if I called it the law of circulation. Because when we think of giving and receiving as equal parts of the same idea, we're beginning to understand how this law works. This law is actively supported by the universe. Now we've all heard the expression, nature abhors a vacuum, or as it's written, from the emptiness, God created the heavens. But notice that both of these ideas are actions. Verbs like abhors and created describe doing something, just like the law of giving and receiving. Sir Isaac Newton said, an object in motion stays in motion. I say, doing nothing gets you nothing. So now let me ask you this. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The law of circulation is when something is given, something else is received all the time. The vacuum is filled. The energy remains balanced, and that is why you have to be consciously aware of what you're giving, because it will come back. Sometimes very quickly, and other times much later. For example, when we give our tithes every week, why do you think we infuse our offertory blessing with energy? Why? It's because the physical gift is a symbol of the energy that supports its action. The physical gift is symbolic of the energy that supports its action. That's why you never want to give your gift from fear or with hesitation. Luke chapter 6, verse 38 reads, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be put into your lap, for the measure you give will be the measure that you get back." So what this verse literally refers to is when people used to go to market, they would bring a container with them filled with whatever they had to trade for grains or some other kind of commodity. And they wanted, in return, a good measure, referring to a full and godly portion. Pressed down, shaken together. Oh, this phrase describes the process of compacting the contents of the container to fit more within it. Running over, this means an overflowing measure, more than what is normally expected, and poured into your lap. Well, the people used to wear robes with a kind of a fold or a pouch in front of them that could be used like a pocket. This image suggests that receiving a significant and tangible abundance. So that's the literal translation of this Bible verse. But in Unity, we look at the idea or the energy behind the words as written. When Rev James blesses the tithes with this verse, he is blessing the giver at the same time, ensuring that as givers, we will also be receivers abundantly. So excuse me for just a second. There's a Old Testament story in 1 Kings chapter 17 that tells how faith is at the center of the law of giving and receiving. The story is about the prophet Elijah, and he had predicted a 3-year drought that would result in terrible famine and hardship for all people. In the story, Elijah is instructed by God to go to this town called Zarephath, where he meets a poor widow. Elijah asks her for a drink of water and a piece of bread, which, considering it was a 3-year drought, was a pretty bold request from a total stranger. The widow says, "I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little olive oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." That's what she said. Elijah tells her, "Don't be afraid. Go home and do as you have said, but first make a small loaf of bread for me and bring it to me, and then make something for yourself and your son." You see, God had told Elijah that her flour would not be used up and the oil would not run dry before the drought had ended and the rains came. So this woman puts her faith in front of her fear. And there was indeed enough food for Elijah, the woman, and her son every day. And then the rains did come. So this story is a clear indication that we as givers are also receivers. This is mind action in a nutshell. Acting on the thought to give creates an opportunity to receive. acting on the thought to give creates an opportunity to receive. But you have to be careful and ask yourself, what exactly am I giving? One of my earliest spiritual 2x4 lessons, came many, many years ago. And it became such a blessing, even though it did not feel like it at the time. A blessing in disguise. It does happen sometimes. So you see, this friend of mine, who admits that this was not one of his finest moments, was getting ready for work one morning, and he was expecting to get the delivery of a piece of furniture that he had custom ordered from the mart. So when the truck came, my friend went downstairs, and the driver opened the door of the truck, and there was the furniture. And my friend sees that it's not the quality of the piece that he had ordered. And so he became very angry. And he started shouting at this driver of this truck who had nothing to do with the quality of the furniture. And he refused the delivery. And reluctantly, the driver closed the door and drove off with the piece of furniture. So not more than an hour later, my friend was at work, and his boss was up in his face, screaming at him about something that he had nothing to do with. So what is the blessing? What is the blessing of this story? I received a Cliff Note lesson on the law of giving and receiving that I have never forgotten. When we meditated today, we were living the law of giving and receiving. The blessing that's available to you right now, here today, is that you have become aware of just how this law works in all areas of your life. From the way you do your job, to the way you care for your family, to the way you interact with your partner, including the way you acknowledge the power and presence of God. All of these things and everything else as well. And now that you know the comprehensive inclusion of this law in all experiences, how do you begin acting on it? If you're not sure where to start, remember what the physicist Sir Isaac Newton said: an object in motion stays in motion. Well, you are a metaphysicist. So take the first step by imagining what it is you want to experience in your life. If you want more love, be loving to someone you might be neglecting. It could be somebody close to you, or it could be somebody that you don't even know. But you don't let fear or uncertainty stop you from reaching out. If you're extending a blessing in some way, you're coming from a place of truth and authenticity. Doing nothing gets you nothing. Stagnation leads to an experience of lack, while acting on the thought to give creates the opportunity to receive. You You want to experience prosperity in your life? Give a loaf of bread to someone who is hungry. You'll begin a cycle of prosperity, not only for that person, but for yourself. By making someone else prosper, you will feel rich. I remember a prosperity class that I was in many years ago. And we were told that the 10% tithe that we are supposed to be giving is based on your gross income, not the net figure. Well, everyone in the room gasped audibly. Everyone. But I committed to try it, at least for the 8 weeks that were remaining in the class. I mustered my courage and I dug deep. I surrendered to my faith. And it was blind faith because I didn't see it and everything back then. But anyway, at the end of the 8 weeks, my generosity proved to be the right decision because I actually felt as if I had more money in my pocket and not less. Today, I don't question how it works. I just accept that it does. So what do you want to have in your life? More money, more love, peace, compassion, health, energy? Well, Unity Chicago, it starts now. Change the way you think about whatever it is you feel is not showing up in your life. And suddenly, you'll discover that the source of what you desire is yourself. It's inside you, and it has been all along. Follow Elijah's direction. Don't be afraid. You're the one putting the brakes on your own demonstration. Stop doing that and start being the fullest expression of who you were created to be. Does that sound reasonable? Yes. Does it? Yes. Well, then try it. You'll like it. Namaste.
Here you go. Of course. Thank you so much, Reverend Jeff Berry. That was awesome. I'm ready to be my full self. We're going to welcome Bruce Henry back to be his amazing singing self in the Peter Polzak Quartet.
Hello, hello, everybody. How you doing today? Wasn't that a beautiful message? Thanks so much, Reverend. Thanks so much. This song we're going to do, I think it fits in with the message we just received. It is called Sold Out. And I see the quizzical look on people's faces sometimes. It is not S-O-L-D. It's S-O-U-L-E-D. Sold out, y'all. Okay. Sold out complete. Let's come on. You ready, band? Let's go. Sold out. My mind is made up. I am sold out. My mind is made up. fire, I come through the rain. But God never left my side. God's my comfort through all hurt and pain. I am sold out. My mind is made up. I am sold out. Oh, my mind is made up. Verse 2. Say, I come through the fire, I come through the rain, but God never left my side. All my comfort and all my hurt and pain, I am sold out. You all should be singing along by now. I am sold out. You know the words. I am sold out. I am sold out. Oh yeah. I am sold out. In the back now. Come on, sing it. I am sold out. Take it a little bit higher. I am sold out. I am sold out. I am sold out. Yeah. I am sold out. 2 more times. I am sold out. Yeah. I am sold out. My heart is fixed. My heart is fixed. My mind's made up. No room, no vacancies. I'm all filled up. God's Spirit lives in me, and that's the reason I'm sold out. Yeah. My heart is fixed. My mind's made up. No room, no vacancies. I'm all filled up. God's Spirit lives in me, and that's the reason I'm sold out. Yeah, come on, say yeah, all right, yeah, 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 say yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, man. My heart is fixed. My mind's made up. No room, no vacancies. I'm all filled up. God's Spirit lives in me, and that's the reason I'm sold out.
Bruce, thank you. Wow, you're really getting them going. This energy is going to really take us a long way today, and especially now because we're going to practice what I just preached. All right? We're going to take this time to present our gifts to the idea of what is represented here today. We're going to give to Spirit through this ministry as a way to extend the practices and the ideas that we are promoting. So I invite you now to take your gift in your hand and join me in saying our offertory blessing with thank you, divine love, richly flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for the blessings of this day. I am grateful for the blessings on the way.